This is For the Creators.
Welcome back to For the Creators, where it's our job to demystify creativity. In these long-form conversations, we tease out tips and tricks from all kinds of creatives, whether they're musicians, presenters, actors, directors, DJs, writers, entrepreneurs, and everything in between. Today, we're sitting down with Sean Sagar. Sean is a London-based actor who made his acting debut in the critically acclaimed feature film ILL Manors, directed by Ben Drew. He then landed a part in the hit TV show TopBoy and went on to various other shows such as Casualty, Trollied and We Are Monster. Sean is now featured as a season regular in BBC Drama OurGirl, with the new season set to drop in June 2018. We get into what it's like to be on set, how Sean got into acting and the various challenges he's gone through. There are so many gems in this episode, so make sure you have your notes app ready or even a notepad. Without further ado, please enjoy my sit down with Sean Sagar. So, got Sean.
Yep, I'm here, boy.
Got Sean here. How are you?
Good, man. Good. As I was saying, tired, but all for a positive reason. So yeah, good, man. Real good, real good.
So what you been up to?
So today I had ADR for OurGirl for the new seasons that's coming out. So it was just going in there and just running over a bunch of dialogue. And just
what does that involve? An ADR? What does it stand for?
Do you know the worst thing? I actually don't even know. It's something like audio direct, some craziness. I should really know it because that's bad. It's my profession. But I actually don't even know it. But what it stands of is like, so they have you in a studio and they'll have your scene up on the screen and they'll have like this line that comes across, which is like a sweeper. And basically what you got to do is when it gets to a green line, you've got to hit that line and say your line.
Oh, okay.
But what's also confusing about it is that you got to make sure you say it how you did it in the scene.
Right.
But you're just in a studio with a mic on you. So it's like, if you're doing, like today I had to do a scene where I was digging. And at first when I started doing ADR, when I first started, it was like, you just said the line but didn't act it. And then as I've now got to do it, I realised you have to act it out. Like you have to. So I'm standing there in the studio with with the director and the engineer. And I just found myself just miming, digging. Miming. You just find yourself, because you have to. Because I think it's just interesting, otherwise you don't get that same performance that you did in the scene. Because if you don't act it out, it's like, how are you going to get that truth back again? Which was interesting. And then just watching other people do it, I was just like, yeah, you have to.
So it's like voice acting?
Yeah, basically. That's
but
it,
like in snippets?
Yeah, literally. But it's of scenes you've done. So you kind of already know how you did it, but you just got to take yourself back there, which is cool. Long, but yeah, I enjoyed today. Today was cool.
I mean, I guess it's necessary for the edit.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think it's more, it's like sometimes you can mumble out a word. And at times I've done ADR and it sounds fine, but they just want it to be crystal clear so that when it comes out on TV, everyone can understand what you're saying. Yeah. Instead of it being... So,
what did he say?
Yeah, do you know
subtitles.
What I mean? So you have to do the whole thing again, which is cool, but it's just a bit like, oh God, here we go. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun.
How long does that take on average?
So it all depends. So when I did episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10, I was in there for 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So you're just...
And you're doing like the same line over and over.
So now there's loads of different lines. So you'll have loads of, but they'll ask you for like 3 versions of that same line. So the way you did it, but just to make sure they get it perfect. So you'll do like 3 takes. Sometimes you do it once if you nail it. And then today, so I did that one that was 4 hours, and today I was only in there for an hour. So it all depends on how much dialogue you've got in the episodes. So 11 and 12, there wasn't that much. So I only had a quick hour in and out. Bosh. So yeah, it was all right. It was all right. Decent.
Mad. So because you've done that now, like, did you, before getting into acting, had you had any like studio recording experience?
Yeah, slightly, because my brother's a music producer, my oldest brother Michael, and
shout out to Mike.
Yeah, shout out to Big Mikey in the building, and so he has his own recording studio. So when we was younger, we used to go around there and just mess about in the booth, and it was funny enough because when I first did it, when I did it for TopBoy, this was years ago. When I first went in, first time ever doing ADR, so I've walked into the studio, I'm like, what the hell is this? And then turned round and the guy was like, okay, so all you need to do is just hit it on this beat. And I was like, oh God. So I did it and he went, do you do music? I said, no. And he goes, because most people in their first time can't hit the beat.
Right.
He's like, listen, you ain't seen me dance, bro. You ain't seen the two-step come out. But yeah, so it's interesting. I think having that helped me with it. But that, yeah, so it wasn't nothing serious. Just used to go in there and mess about. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'd take up a music career from it. But yeah, no, yeah, so just messing about. So that was the only experience I've had studio-wise,
right, in
that sort of situation. So yeah.
So how does it differ? Like, obviously, when you've got the cameras on you, acting, to when you're in like a studio environment, which is quite sterile. You're not like on set or anything like that. So how do you? Is the process different to getting into your character? Also, because it's a delayed, like you've already filmed months before, and then you're doing ADR. How does that? How do you get back into character?
See, from turning up on set is always different because you go through like the procedure of auditions where you're just in a random room. You can have like 3, you could have like a director, producer, casting director, or you could just have the casting director, and automatically the energy is never the same as how it is on set because you're not in the environment. Obviously you try and do it as best as you can, but it always changes when you get on set. So you always find that once you do the audition, you do it a certain way. Then once you book the role, you then get on set and it changes just because you're now in the settings, which helps. And I think to then go back into doing ADR in a studio, you just kind of have to, with you watching what's on the screen, you just have to put yourself back to where you was. So I always ask him if I can listen to it once, the whole scene, just so I can see what I was doing, how I was thinking, what was going on, and then just try run it from there. But I think the most interesting part of it is getting yourself back there. And you find that you feel a bit more cringed out doing it in a studio than you do on set with cameras on you, because you're like, and like what I said earlier, you're just standing there mimicking what you was doing before. So you're then digging, and then now in the studio with no equipment, no nothing, no shovel in your hand. Now you're acting out, digging, and it's like you feel stupid, but then it's weird. You kind of just you zone out, and like that shovel is then actually in your hand, and I think that's what then just helps you get into it, rather than just trying to go in there and just read the lines without doing any physical movement. So I think just getting into it as much as you can helps. But the energy is definitely different. It's definitely more of an area space in terms of like you're not there, so you just have to imagine yourself there, which is challenging at first. But then as you do it more and more, you just kind of get used to it. Yeah.
Because like when it makes me think of, you know, like when you see the behind the scenes of any Pixar movie and you see the voice actors, and obviously like there's no chance of being on set because it's animated. So when they're recording their parts, they're like super animated in terms of the way they're acting, like almost like overacting.
Yeah, it is. And I think
but that's what I guess that's what brings out the actual natural performance.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I think for doing that, you have to be there, and especially to do like voiceovers. There's enough amount of respect to them from an actor's perspective, because even going into a studio doing ADR where you can see the scene in front of you and you've actually done it helps, let alone bringing that animation to life whilst just sat in a room. But then again, I also sit there and think is like when I get a script, as soon as I start reading it, I instantly know where the energy is, where the shift is, how I will play this out. So I think it naturally comes to you where your physicalities then come into play with the dialogue. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, so if you read a book, whilst you're reading that book, the aim of that book is to put you where they're setting it and to see everything that they're writing. But more times it will always be how you imagine it. With a little twist. Obviously they've put you there, but your imagination will always take you a different place to where they think it is. Yeah. And depending on how specific the book is in terms of the scenery and whatnot. But I watched a Hugh Jackman ADR session for Logan. And
I saw that.
It was incredible. And I remember standing there, I remember I was at home and it popped up on one of the social medias, and I sat there and I was like, let me just watch this to see how this works, because that scene was crazy. And I watched him, and it blew me away because it was fully in the scene, and it was like the exact way he did it on camera. He did it in that studio, and it was like it was that moment. I remember watching it, going, "You just have to go all in. You can't. There can't be that nervous thing of like, oh my god, I'm in the studio and people are judging me, because you've already done it. Like you've already done it. So it's just going, okay, I can just do it again now, but without being there." And I watched him do it, and I was like,
was mad because I remember seeing that video and they had like Hugh Jackman and the scene playing side by side, and he was doing the same choreography, wasn't he?
Exact same thing.
Same like the shouts and everything like that.
So
and I was like, raw.
And they have to, and then they'll do a thing like today. I had to do it where you do breathing. So you have to watch the scene.
Oh, okay. So you
breathing.
Wow.
And you do the breathing. Then it will be like a thing where, say now, you're breathing. And I had to down a pint. So whilst I'm down, I had to just hold a cup of tea and pretend to down it, just so you get that actual sound. And it's like you then find yourself going, you're just there. You can't go into a session and just sit there and try to read lines off a paper and just look at the footage. You have to take yourself back there and just enjoy it. I think that's the fun. But what I've established is that's the fun part of it. You've already done it. The stress is done. Now you've just got it's like a top up. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. So it's just making sure you get that crisp top up. You've already done the hard work of being on set, cameras around you, pressure, take. That's done. So now it's just about, all right, let's have fun with this. And then just making sure you keep it to it, not going in there and trying to say a whole new line. Just do it, keep it to how you did it in the scene. And I think it is fun, but it's also just a bit like, it's draining in a sense of like, I've done this now. I beg you, let's just finish this. Just move on. Do you know what I mean? You're just in the studio like, come on, I've got 4 hours of something I've already done. But you then realise when it comes out, the difference it makes on TV of how clear. But I can always tell what's ADR and what's not, even when I watch films.
Yeah, of course. And you can tell when it's done badly as well.
Yeah, even when I watch films and TV now, I'm like, yep, ADR, ADR. So it is good, but then it ruins other aspects of watching and enjoying stuff.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
but also I guess it will help you appreciate when it's done right and it's seamless 100%. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that was ADR. Yeah, because it's for anyone that does know, like when you're watching a movie and you know, like someone's turned around and you could just hear that it's a different recording.
And that's what.
But sometimes they don't even like sync it up correctly. But I guess they just do the best they can.
It comes down to your sound engineer, because it comes from, if you're in there and like say you've got a scene laying down and you're quite chilled, if you then go in there with the energy of you're standing up, and it's just not going to look right. Especially if you've got lines before that they're not ADRing and it sounds a certain way, and then you do your line and it's all like, it's like, whoa, you can just tell the shift. So I think it's all down to your engineer as well, the sound guy in the studio that's watching you, that will go, it needs to be more down, which they, to be fair, most of them have got. That's very interesting. Yeah, and a lot
that's
of
almost like the director in the studio.
Yeah, and more times the director's in there. Like today when I had it, the director was in there, but I was having more the conversation with the sound guy than I was. I think they're just there to overlook, to make sure it's fitting what they want, but then it's the sound guy that's like, I need to make sure it matches exactly what it is. So it's a nice relationship between the two, that the director will be in there, but they're not there, if that makes sense. It's that that's the sound engineer's space. Let me do my thing, and if it's wrong, just point me out on it. And which is cool, because in this industry you need to have it where everyone's allowed their time to do their thing, and people respect that, and you don't step on people's toes, and at the same time you appreciate, because you're all working on something to create something great. And I think the day people start stepping on people's toes and not allowing that, it messes it up in a creative sense, and you don't get what you could get out of those individuals, despite whether it's cast, whether it's sound, whether it's lighting. Everyone needs their time to do their thing, and I think a lot of people kind of just get no respect in that sense, just because you're not in front of the camera. That everyone forgets the work that's been put in before you've even turned up.
It takes so many people to do these things.
Do you know what I mean? And they're on set way before you, and it's like you then find actors going, "Oh my God, are we done now? I want to go home." And it's like, don't moan. There's been people that have been there 4 hours prior to you, getting picked up at 4 a.m. You're turning up at 9 o'clock with a trailer and a cup of tea waiting for you and breakfast, and they're still out there working. Yeah. And you just need to have that level of respect where you go, you know what? This is their time, so if they need to set up lighting, I'm not going to mess around on set. I'm just going to let them do their thing. Then once they're done, you do it. And I think it's the same in ADR. If you just let them get on with their work, it makes your life a lot easier as well. But then you have got directors that will sit in there, that will go, no, do it like this, do it like this. I'm like, but that don't make sense, because it won't match what you're asking me to do. Yeah. So there are some that can be confused and get lost in it. But yeah, more times you just got to let the sound engineer and the directors do their thing, and then you just say your line again. Yeah, but yeah.
That's mad, because obviously, like, most people think all right, when you've as an actor, when you're filming and you've done on set and it's all right, that's a wrap. That's like the famous line in it. That's a wrap. All right, job done.
Yeah.
But that's like 98% in it. So the last 2%, it's a good stretch.
And it's also that last 2% more times has nothing to do with you as an actor. It's like the job's done in terms of what you've done, but there's now this whole process that goes on whilst you're now looking for other work. There's still people working on this job for another 3 months, sat in a room, checking edits, checking sound. Then you got all the people that are trying to promote it and da-da-da. So it goes way beyond when it says it's a wrap. And that's also another thing that a lot of us actors don't understand, is that once we say it's a wrap, we're all happy because we've been paid, we've done our thing. And I know that's our job, that's what we do. But then it's also a situation where you need to sit there and go, wow, but there's people that's still going to be working on this and have been working on this whole time as well and before. Says that we've only come in just to deliver what we need to deliver and go. And then it's out of your hands then. And I think that's where the respect comes in, and you just gotta be down with it and just be easygoing and just turn up on set, do your thing and go home. That's good.
That's good that you have that, because I mean, by the sounds of it, not everyone has that level of respect.
No, luckily, like I can turn around and say, in my whole career, I've worked with nothing but good people. I've not had any problems with anyone. All the cast members have been great on every job I've done. In terms of crew, everyone's been cool. So I've never really had that. I know obviously it's out there and I've heard of stories of it being out there.
Right.
But to see it firsthand, I haven't been able... I can't speak on that because I've never experienced it. And then again, it all comes down to what energy are you giving off? Do you know what I mean? If you're on set and you're giving off this energy that you're better than everyone else, or people don't deserve as much respect as what you do, then it's just going to come back to you. So I think however you carry yourself is what you will get back.
Right.
And I think I just kind of turn around and go, every job's a blessing for me, whether it's a job where I'm in it for 2 minutes, whether it's a job where I've got a lead role, whether it's a job where I'm out of my comfort zone. I think it's just got to be, I'm working, and I got to be happy for that, because there are people at home that would do anything for their agent to call their phone. So who am I to be being in a mood when I'm working and getting to do what I now love? So I think it's just all comes down to your energy, and then people out there that do carry that other side of the energy, then I just kind of go, you know what, I don't know what's going through your head. I don't know what's going through your head, and it's not my place to even look into it. I'm here to do my thing, and that's what I'm going to do. So I think in a sense of that, it's more just turn up and do your thing and call it a wrap. That's what I would say anyway. No, you have some. I've heard some stories. I think we all have. I've heard some
Well,
stories,
yeah, of course. Yeah, no, me too.
So it's that's what I mean. Do you get me? So it's interesting, but again, just enjoy it. What you do. Do you know? I don't think anything you do, you should kill yourself over it. If you're gonna, if your job stresses you that much and you don't enjoy it, I would say maybe that's not the right job for you. And life shouldn't be about stressing over something that when it really comes down to it on that day, it means nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
On that day, it means nothing. So I think the more you realise that, the easier everything else becomes. It will never be easy, but you will have that mindset that will keep you going through those little moments where you could.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I
exactly.
think it's
like
that.
when it's those odd days when because things are stressful.
Yeah, of course.
But if it's like, if you don't have a sense of peace about the work that you're doing, in a sense of like love or like an enjoyment about what you do, like that should be the overriding factor
100%,
of the stressful
100%,
moments. But if it's like
100%.
constantly stressful, then maybe there's another path for
and also I think if it is constantly stressful, don't look at it as a bad thing. It's just that's your journey. Do you know what I mean? You're meant to go through that. Whatever you're doing and whatever doesn't work out for you, cool, move on next. And I think going from my life and looking at where I thought I would go and what I thought I would be doing, and now looking what I'm doing, I just understand that everything I experience every day is meant to happen. And that's either to make me grow as a person in terms of career, and and just get on with it. Don't sit there and think, oh my God, I've got a stressful job. No. It's like, cool, your job's stressful, but it's stressing you out to make you stronger for something else that's coming.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's like everything we do is preparing us for these other moments that's ahead. Because if you ever look at it, if you don't go through any stress, one day when that stress does hit you, it will hit you a lot harder than it has the people that have gone through and have accepted this is stressful, but I'm going to get through it. And so I think it's more times just if it stresses you, cool, just get on with it. And if you can't get on with it, then move on from it. And that's my best advice for it.
For sure. Like, I kind of liken it to, like, whenever you're trying to do something that's non-existent in your life, like any kind of dream or any kind of like career move or anything like that, it's almost like you're asking for something that's not there, right? So you could say like you're applying for a job that you haven't got. Yeah. Right. So let's say the universe is giving you this job. It's something new, so you're going to require training for that. Of course. Do you know what I mean? So these stressful moments, it's almost like you're training. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if you start a new job in like whatever, like retail or it could be anything, you're going to have that like probationary period where things are a bit stressful. You need to find your groove. Do you know what I mean? And then you start taking ownership of it.
Do you know what's also interesting? The way you just put that, it's like, what do we do as a kid when you're first born? Exactly, everything is building you up to start walking. Once you start walking, it's then, okay, I've done this now. I've been building myself up. Now I don't need to start doing. Let's start learning to talk. You then start learning to talk. And then once you start doing that, it's like, okay, now let's start absorbing information and trying to learn. And so everything you're doing, you're growing. And no matter what division or what career path you take, you're always going to go in there at first with that doubt and not knowing if you can do it. And can you do it as well as you think? And it's only through doing it and doing it and doing it that you then turn around and go, I've got this. But it's that factor of, can you keep that attitude of, I'm going to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And that's what separates the people that we have in this day and age, where it's that people are so easy to give up because they think it's just going to be handed to them. And then when it's not handed to them, they get in a strop and then go do something else. And then that don't happen. Just stick with it. And it's like, if you love it, then I don't see the problem with sticking with it. I think it all just boils down to your mindset and just making sure you go, cool, I'm learning, everything I'm doing right now is meant to happen, it's baby steps. But when I do master these steps, no one's going to stop me. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to walk wherever I want to walk. I'm going to run wherever I want to run. I'm going to ride this bike wherever I want to ride. Everything in life, it starts off with you not knowing how to do it. And then once you learn how to do it, it's then making sure you keep that energy as high and realizing I can take this even further now. And it's just about that. It's like you start off in a job as a receptionist or as someone that's handing out teas in a salon, but your aim is to get higher. And all you're going to then start doing is working towards getting higher. Or you're going to turn around and go, I ain't got any energy for this. And you're just going to leave it. And that's not a bad thing. That's just you realised this ain't for me. But the people that will keep that will carry on to succeed. And not saying those people that have given up won't succeed. It's just in that certain division that weren't for you. So I don't ever think that's a bad thing with the change, but just accept that there will be changes in life. And as long as you can get that in your head, that's what keeps me going, is that I know this ain't going to be easy. It will be lonely. There will be times where I will feel depressed. There will be times where I feel like I do want to quit, but I can't because I want this. And it's like, and I will get it. And I think it's just keeping that and just going, cool. All right, it's been quiet for 4 months, but you know what? I'm all right. I've grown as a person, so let's keep it going. And the next minute, boom, job pops up, and you're like, so I was stressing over what? Do you know what I mean? It's that factor. It's that I was stressing over what? People sit there and go, oh my God, like, I haven't got a job. You get a job interview, bang, you got a job. That stress was irrelevant. It was irrelevant. It didn't help. But I think we all have to do it. We all have to do it. We all go through it. It's like no one's ever gonna go through life just airheaded, just thinking, oh, it's all great, it's all sunflowers. The world don't work like that. But I think it's also realizing that you can see them flowers. Just keep watering it, keep growing it, and then once that sprouts, boom, it's there. All right, next batch. Do you know what I mean? That's how you got to look at it. But so in the sense of that, man, I just think just keep that energy high. I'm a strong believer in energy, as you know.
As I know, and
I'm a strong believer. I'm a strong believer in it, and only as I've got older and through friends and family just showing me, because I never used to have it. So now it's just like, that's all I ever say to everyone is just keep your energy high. It will have times where it's low, but it's meant to be low. Do you know what I mean? Everything has a point where it needs to be charged. So just keep it. Don't let it die on you. Don't just go, I'll give up. Because you know what I mean? It's like your phone. When your phone's low on battery, you don't just go...
Yeah, exactly.
You run around looking for a charger.
Yes, I know I've got a charger.
Yeah, you run around looking for a charger. Have that same drive towards your life and your ambitions. It's like when it gets low, cool, I need to recharge it, and have that moment to yourself to just recharge, re-energize, and get straight back out on it. Because it's like more times now, if people adapted their life to how they do with their phone, everyone would be flying. Do you know what I mean? Everyone would be flying. Like, the fact that some people can't even leave their house without their phone, but will go out on it and not know what the hell they're doing with their life. Yeah. It's like, why does your phone need to justify that? So have the same mindset towards that as you do your own life, and see what happens to you. And so that's what I think my little weird philosophies of how. Yeah,
that's incredible, man. But that's incredible.
Yeah, I always think that, man. If it's low, just let it charge up again. Do you know what I mean? Everything has a point where it gets low. It's never always up here, and those things that don't last long. So I think just make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready for those lows, and then once it gets low, just ready to recharge.
That's it, man. And that, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, that I'm charging up. I'm having a rest. That I'm not in action. No, having a rest is action. You need action. That.
Yeah, you need that. You're letting your mind get back to the creative space. And not even so. Even if you're not so creative, but I mean, just your mind space. Just in general, you need that time to recharge. People that don't allow themselves to recharge and just go through life just running on empty, it's pointless. Like, have that minute to yourself, just have that minute to your thoughts, and just get back into it, and then just go from there and see the difference that it makes. Because I went through the same thing where I was always like 100 miles per hour, I have to, because I have to feel busy, but I'm being busy for no reason, just to be.
And then you're stressing out as well.
Because then I'm like, and it's always that moment when you get home and you lay in your bed by yourself, and everything goes in your head, and there's always those times where you reflect, and that whole day where you thought you was having a great time all comes down to that moment when you lay in bed and you really sit there and go, I did nothing that has benefited me in any sense, apart from the fact of I just need to stay busy. So there is that point of charge. Think of what you then need to do when you are fully charged. That's going to keep you going to the next stage. And then when you need to charge again, do it again. It's just the same routine. Do you know what I mean? So I think, that's the way I look at most things.
This is very interesting. So I want to explore like how you got to that point, because you said that you weren't always like that. So what, I mean, because obviously you're acting and you're reading scripts and you're doing a bunch of projects. What decisions or what like moments in your childhood like got you to where you are now? Like, was there a key moment where it's like, oh yeah, that's okay, now that's what I want to do?
The key moment for me was when my friend made a film, Ben Drew. He made a film called ILL Manors, and I went for the audition with my older brother Nick, and I remember standing in this studio doing the audition, and was the most nervous I've ever been in my life, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just stood here in front of a bunch of people I don't really know.
So what kind of people were there?
It was all to do with like producers, directors, that sense of something that I've never seen before. So this is a world that's all new to me. So, and I've never been put on a spot where I feel like an animal in a zoo, where it's like you just stand there and people just watch you. And I remember doing it, and we finished, and Ben came over to us and was like, smashed it, like, thank you for coming. I was like, whatever. Got a phone call saying, I want to offer you the part. So I was like, okay, you sure have you got the right number? You was meant to call Nick, because Nick was the actor at this stage. I wasn't. I wanted to play football, and I wanted to kick ball. So that was my thing as a kid growing up. So obviously this field jumped in, and I remember I was in New York because I then went off to work with Ben. Weirdly, he asked me to go along and style him on his tour he was doing, and just before I left to go on his America tour, I went for an audition for a TV program called TopBoy, and the casting director, Leanne Flynn, called me and was like, I've got this great job for you, I think you'll be great. I was like, I don't think you got the right person here. Again, I'm sitting there thinking, well, who do you lot think I am? I ain't no actor. So I was like, okay, I'll go. So I turned up to this audition, did it. I remember sitting in New York in the dressing room whilst Ben was performing, and I got a text saying, check your email. So I was like, okay. So I checked it, and it said, we want to offer you the part for the role. And I sat there and I was like, do I give up touring with Ben and experiencing this crazy life where I get to travel to different countries and I get to have fun, or do I go off on a journey where it's all new to me and I'm by myself now? And I remember Ben came off stage and I let him obviously have his little come down from all the buzz, and I said to him, yo, I got offered this part, like, what do I do? And he turned around and looked at me and said, you're not meant to be in my shadow. Go and create your own light now. You're not meant to be in my shadow. Go. And I was like that, and he went, yeah, go. Yeah. And it was at that moment I went, cool. And I left, came back to start filming, and been doing it ever since. But it was a moment where I used to be a kid where I was really irate. I used to be really like energetic. I used to get into trouble. And my older brother Nick, when he left to go to LA, turned around to me and said, I want you to calm down now. Like, you need to calm down. I'm not here. And it was always a thing of like, I know my older brother's always there.
Right,
He's
so he was like
the
cushion.
Yeah. And it was bad to do that because I didn't realise at times what predicaments I could be putting him in. So in a sense, it was selfish. And when he left, I kind of sat there and I went, I need to find something else to do to channel this energy I have. And it wasn't positive when I was younger. It was real negative. And so I went off with Ben, and then I found that when it came to acting, that was my release. It was like I enjoyed getting home, reading a script. I still do now. Just putting that energy and just channeling it somewhere where it works and it doesn't get me in trouble. And it also has an impact on my life when now I'm still learning, still growing, but I was very lost and confused when I was younger. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Apart from football, got to the age where I was like, it's not going to happen. Just gave up on myself.
Why did you get to that conclusion for football? Because I've just a side note, I play football with Sean, and Sean is like Neymar from Forest Gate. So just so you know, innit? Where did that self-doubt come from?
Do you know what? I'm going to get real deep, and my popsy probably ain't going to like this if he hears it, but it is what it is. When I was younger, my dad used to run a football team for Forest Gate community because he used to work for Connections, and took the kids that used to get into trouble and created this amazing football team for them. And it was for my older brother's age, Nick, who is 2 years above me. And I always used to kind of be like, why have you done that for him and not for me? Like, I can play ball as well. Can you not see? And it was quite a selfish thing, but also the point of I just wanted to be noticed in a sense of that. And it really played with my head when I was younger because I was like, I would go.
How old were you?
So when they first started that, I would have been about 12.
Okay.
About 12, but I was playing from young. I was playing at Pro Star when I was younger, and I was playing for, I can't remember the other team. I was way too young to even remember. But and I remember watching them play. And I used to go to my dad. I used to go to every game. I used to go to every training session. I would jump on the pitch. I'm talking, I was probably 5 foot at this stage. Some little midget kid running around trying to play with big 16, 15-year-olds, but didn't care just because I loved it. And then, so I then went off. My dad then went on to Brentwood, where he then took us, my age. And by this time I was 16 years old. And it just wasn't the same. He didn't put in I felt like for me, my dad lost his love for it when that team he created folded. That was his pinnacle of what he thought this was going to happen. And I always sit there and I go, I wish you just stuck with me a few more years and just kept that. Because as I said, like, my energy was so everywhere. I just needed someone at that age to just push me into something. And I thought, the only way that would have been for me was football. Right. And the only thing I ever used to do, and I always do it to this day, whenever I'm stressed or stuff in my head ain't going how I want it to, I literally put on my football stuff, go into the park, and I'll just play by myself for hours. Yeah. And I used to do it, and I used to go there, and I used to train free kicks. I used to set up the net because the caretaker, Paul, used to allow me to do it on Wanstead Flats, and he used to let me set up the net. And I would get there from about 10 in the morning, wouldn't leave till it got dark in the summer, of just kicking. And it was then I was like, I'm going to be pro. One day I will be. Yeah. And when I watched how my dad just deflated, it kind of made me feel, do you not think I'm good enough? So my energy kind of dipped. And then got involved with like drinking, and then the whole fitness side went, and then I just kind of went, I'm too old for it now. And the same thing, like what I said earlier, is that I've made those decisions where I didn't stick with something.
Right.
And I gave up on something that I really should have stuck with.
Right.
So I understand it firsthand,
Got it.
how that affects you. And I even say to this day, if someone came up to me and said, I'll offer you a professional football career for a year and you give up acting, acting's done. Like, finished. Although it's still football for me is, there's nothing that will ever come to that. Do you know what I mean? And you see how passionate I get with it. It's like, it's in a sense of passion, but then again, it's like...
No, but it's a love, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what it was for me, was that I just didn't feel that I was believed in. And I had it where I felt like there was that same energy and being put into someone that, again, was incredible. Nick was incredible at football. But again, it just felt like if my dad at that stage would ever have just turned around for me as a lost little 14-year-old who didn't know what he wanted to do and had all this energy running about, if he just went, nah, I'm going to stick with him, then I reckon I still would have been playing. And I'm not blaming it on him in the sense of, if you stuck with me, you didn't stick with me. But I mean, it also was my fault. But I mean, I just needed that drive.
And, especially like when you're a teenager, like you're looking for, like you're building your identity, innit?
Yeah.
So sometimes... you look for that anchor in a person, but also that now you're older, you realize that is a person in themselves, and if they haven't, or if they've like lost the passion for what they were doing at that point, they don't realize necessarily that the people that they're working with or the people that are younger than them are looking for them to be that anchor. Do you know what I mean? Of course.
And it's also, it showed me as well, don't rely on no one. Don't rely on no one. And even me telling you this story now, I'm kind of sitting there kicking myself in the head, because I'm going, I relied on my dad when I didn't know what was going through my dad's head. I don't know where his mindset was at that stage. I don't know how much it affected him, that football team he created, what that really did to his head. And you just don't know.
Yeah, because that could have been really deflating.
And I think it was for him. And I think me as just a young kid, I think obviously at that time, that age, you look for that guidance. But as I've got older, I just realised, to all the kids out there that haven't got that and are seeking it, don't. You're seeking is yourself. That's all you're really seeking. You're just waiting for someone to tell you you can do it. You already know you can. You don't need anyone to tell you can do it. My whole point is just, if you know you can, go and do it. And I just wish that I sat there at that age and went, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop until I am on that pitch in front of however many. 400, 500, however many, but I'm playing. And I wish I could go back to then and go, cool. But then again, life has this way of changing.
Of course.
And I'm over the moon with where I am now. But I mean,
in a sense, like you're performing in front of 400, 500.
Yeah,
but now
which
it's
is
like
weird, just
viewers.
different.
I don't know what the numbers are, but it's definitely more than 400 or 500.
Yeah. It is weird, but it is nuts how that same thrill I would have got from performing as a football player in front of that many, I'm doing now, but just differently. And now acting, I would say, has become my passion, because I do think about it. And I know people say, oh no, how can it become it? I think if you keep at something so much and for so long, that there has to be a reason why.
Absolutely.
That it's there. And there has to be a reason why I fell into this. And so far, God willing, touch wood, that this is the only thing in my life that is going well to an extent. And I sit there and I go, there was a reason for all the letdowns. There was a reason for all the pain. There was a reason for all the confusion, because it all leads to this moment now. And you never know, I could have gone pro and got injured a year in and never kicked a ball, and at this stage missed out on everything else, the experience with Ben, which then led me to get to where I am now. So there's all these things you can question, but I think the main thing is the regret. Don't regret it. It's, even if I wasn't doing acting now, I know whatever I would have been doing, I would have been happy. So it's just, don't regret it, because every person in every walk of life at every age has got regrets. We've all done stuff where we're like, oh my God, why? But that's life. Do you know what I mean? These are the experiences we go through for you to go, okay, cool. And it's either you learn from them or you do the stupid mistake and doing it again. So either learn from it, but don't ever regret it. Don't ever regret. I don't regret the fact of that. I always say, yeah, I wish, but that's just for my own little childish fantasy. Do you know what I mean? The kid, but I don't regret not training anymore. I don't regret not chasing it because now I'm happy. And my main thing is just seeing my mum and dad proud. That's my happiness now. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where my life has taken me, and I can't really say much more about it.
No, it's really interesting because I always liken like anything that I'm doing, I always like compare it to sports. Like for example, like you were saying, like you don't train anymore. But really that training's kind of converted into you training within acting. Do you know what I mean? You're performing on a pitch is now you're performing behind a camera or in a studio or on stage. Like in a theatre.
I never even looked at it like that. That's the first time I've ever really looked at it. It is, because I will go every day to train, but then now I'll come home and I'll find myself in my room just reading scripts in an American accent for no reason.
There you go.
I never really looked at it as, obviously I look at it as I'm working on it, but I didn't ever look at it as the same aspect of how I used to go out and train physically with football. That now I'm doing it here, but it's just on a different level or a different subject. But I've never.
It's just transformed from one way of doing it to another. It's almost like reading the script in an American accent. It's like doing kick-ups or trying to do like some sort of freestyle tricks. Just because.
Or it's like it's the same thing if you manage to if you can shoot with your right, you now want to learn with your left. So it's that same thing of, you now want to learn with your left. It's like, cool, all right, I've got the right foot on smash. Let's practice the left. Let's get this one to where the right is. And depending on how much you train will depend on how good that gets. So in a sense with the American accent is however much I train is however good, it would depend on how good it gets. Same with my left foot when I used to train. I used to do a whole day where I was just left, didn't touch it with my right unless it was just dragging the ball. But now it's like I find myself doing that. It's so weird you said it, 'cause I didn't even realise it. You just naturally do it. But I find myself doing that now with accents. So it's like I'll mess around with doing an African accent. I'll mess around with doing an American accent and just getting it to the stage where I feel comfortable. And same with football. I used to train so that when I got on a pitch, I was comfortable. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared if I had to take it with my left. It just was naturally in me to do it. So I think, and I'm not saying that my left is fire, but I mean, it's all right. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
Nah, stop lying. But no, I mean, like, but the thing is, it's like, we are our worst critics. We are our worst critics. And I think we always put this strain on ourselves when we don't need to.
To make it harder. Harder than it has to be.
And it's such a cliche saying, but we are our own worst enemy. And I think the day you get trapped in that prison of your own mindset, it's a hard space to come out of. And I think it's also like you can get caught there, and if you ain't got that strength and the people around you to get out, it's a dark place to get out of. And I think it's just, you just got to realise with everything, you're going to go through stuff, you're going to have changes. Just keep it 100 with yourself and stop beating yourself up. No matter what you've done in life, just keep it 100. As long as you're honest with yourself, then I think that's what brings out however you are in general. And I think when you lie to yourself, you carry a different persona because it's a lie that's in your head. It's not the real you. And I did that when I was younger. It was like the whole, I want to be the party animal, I want to be like the popular one. And as I got older, I went to Reading to live with one of my close friends, Jamie. And I was alone up there because he lives in the middle of nowhere. And I never really, up until then, spent time by myself. And it was at that stage where me and him used to go out partying all the time. And
he looks like a bit of a party.
Yeah, no, he's a nutter. He's an absolute nutter. Shout out to him, though. He's my best friend. He's been there and then helped me out with loads. But it was an absolute nutter. But it was, I think, living with him that showed me I'm not that person.
Right.
I'm not that person. And it was like, I kind of never really spent time in my own head and got to know me. I was always trying to be this person for other people.
Right.
Not in a bad sense. It was more like I don't like seeing people down. So I was always trying to create the energy to keep people up.
Sure.
Rather than sitting there and going, Sean, but you're not happy with you. Do you know what I mean? As you as a person, this ain't really you. You put it out as it is, and everyone's now known you for that person. Cool, but it's only my true people that now will turn around and go, this is really you. Do you know what I mean? Like you, I'd like to have fun, but at the same time, I'll rather sit in now and have deep conversations and have a laugh in that sense than being out partying. And I think that just come from me learning and me growing and me allowing that time to be in my own head and get to know how my mind works instead of doing that whole thing of being at 100 miles per hour and not charging. Just it all comes down to that, just not charging and just realizing I need to take this time to get back to that level where I am happy and not just constantly staying on the low because I'm trying to keep everyone else up, because it's going to get to a stage where it's just going to die. And it will get to that stage where I just go, I'm so confused as what I am. If I don't take this time to have these conversations with myself, I'm never going to grow. So I think it all comes down to just making sure you allow that process of just enjoying your own company. And,
for sure.
And
for
do you know
sure.
what I mean? Like how you say with me and you have had discussions in the sense of you wake up early now, you don't touch your phone, then you go off, you do your walk, and then you go, that's incredible, because you've now set up your mindset for you on that day. You've not instantly jumped on your phone and had this whole thing where you're caught up in other people's lives before your own.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we all do it. We all wake up and instantly look at our phones, and before you've even thought about you're already looking at what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So by that time, it's now going to take you 2 hours to get into your mindset, whereas you're already in it come 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
People are still looking on social media at someone else's and then go, oh my God, what do I have to do today? And those 2 hours are crucial. Do you know what I mean? They're crucial. And I think it's just about that. Just allow yourself to be happy in your own space.
And being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, and just embrace it. Like if you then realize that you do get socially awkward, cool, embrace it. Just now work on it. Do you know what I mean? If you do feel like you have to keep this energy up for the wrong reasons, cool, embrace it. Just now work on it. And
it's acceptance, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just accepting.
I'm not like judging it.
No, not at all.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's not right or wrong, but depending on what your goal is.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like if you're doing, let's for example, if you're an actor and you're naturally like introverted, there are moments where you are gonna have to come out of your shell. But it doesn't mean that you have to be out your shell all the time.
Yeah, 24/7.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's where people get confused.
It's not an all or nothing thing.
People get confused of when to call it a night. Do you know what I mean? When to just say, all right, let's relax now. People don't, and I've been a number one suspect to that as well. Is that I don't know sometimes when to call it a night, and that just applies to everything. If you're in a situation, cool, deal with how you deal with it, but then go, all right, let me just step away. Let me just be me. And then if it takes you again to get back to that, then cool, you know it's in you. But you also know it's not you. You know that's just something you can offer.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not doing this to please someone. And I think that's what a lot of people, well, to be honest with you, 90% of this world does now, is everything they do is to please other people but themselves. Yeah. And that's the lost world that we live in. But do you know the worst thing? I still haven't even watched Black Panther.
Is it?
Still haven't even watched it. No,
you need to go see that.
Yeah, I haven't had the time, but
I loved it.
I'm due to watch it. Everyone's told me I'd love it, and I'm due to watch it. So I think
it'll be interesting. Like when you watch movies now you've like been behind.
Oh, it's ruined it.
The camp.
It's ruined it. It's ruined films for me
completely.
It's ruined film.
That's TV. Like the way I hear music.
Yeah, it's ruined it. Like I just it's weird. Like I can't remember the last time I watched a film and just watched a film.
No.
Like
I guess that's what you sacrifice, isn't it?
Yeah, like I watch a film now. In
whatever field you're in.
It's just weird. Like you just watch it and you're like,
it's like being Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just unravels and you see, okay, that's how that fits with that. Okay, they had to have this conversation to make that happen.
Today that happened. Yep.
You just see the skeleton
to do this, and it's so weird because you watch it now and I'll be like, oh my, all right, so they're doing that shot, but oh my God, how did they do that shot? Because that's a long scene, so how did they cut in between it? And that's a close-up. How would I react in that? At that moment, what would I do? All right, that's all that's constantly going through my head. And it's like, you then look at you then just look, and then you listen to things like if I know it's an English actor, I'm listening to his accent more, not to judge him or her, but to more for myself to go, okay, cool, all right.
That's how they did that.
Yes, that's how they did that, and that's okay. So that's how it sounds. Okay, cool. All that. So you're just constantly just picking apart whatever you're watching, and it's ruined it, but then it's not ruined it because it's helped me in my career. But then it's also now if I just want to chill and watch a film, I can't just chill and watch a film. It's
your
like
brain's switched on.
I put it on and I'm like,
because obviously movies are like designed to be escapism, innit?
Yeah,
It's supposed to take you elsewhere. But obviously, if you're an actor, if you're in movies, then it kind of just takes you in your brain.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? I would say that because the last job I just finished, OurGirl, we was in Lanesburg,
Where's
in
that?
South Africa.
Yeah.
It's like this little town in South Africa, beautiful. And we were all watching a horror film together. Bunch of actors. I will never watch a film with a bunch of actors ever again in my life. Simon Lennon, I have to shout him out on this. Let me tell you, we were sitting there and all people were doing was going, oh yeah, that person would be great casted as him. Oh no, but look at that shot. No, are they going to do the typical thing? I wonder where the camera's there. Oh no, she'll be great as casting with that whole film. I remember just sitting there going, oh my Lord, what is going on here? I remember saying to them, I'm never watching a film with you lot ever again. Like, I'm not doing it. And yeah, it was then.
But that just goes to show, innit?
Yeah, and it was then I just went, I kind of went in my head, okay, I am normal. This isn't just me that does this, because I never really watched films with actors before.
Yeah.
And if I did, they didn't really talk. But I didn't know, they didn't tell me how they were watching it. Do you know what I mean? They didn't tell me, oh yeah, I was looking at it like this, like this, like this, like this. But these were verbal about what was going on. So I'm sitting there going, all right, I do all of that. But please shut up and just watch the film. Do you know what I mean? But it's so you do. And it has, but as you said, that's the flip side of it. You get involved in it and then you start noticing. Same thing you just said with music. You now obviously look at it and pick it apart and this didn't get mastered properly. Oh, what about that?
Yeah. I can't. And this has happened from the longest life since I was like 12, 13. I can't hear music as I did as a child.
That was mad.
Because I'm hearing it as a singer, I'm hearing it as a songwriter, as a producer, as a mix engineer,
picking it all apart. Yeah,
all of that.
It's the same.
But that being said, when I do hear a piece of music and it completely moves me, and I'm not analysing it. I'm like, right, okay.
Yeah, that's what I know. Yeah,
that's a good one. Do you know what I mean?
Film has done that for me recently? There was a film I watched where I didn't realise I was watching a film. Interstellar. We spoke about this.
Love that.
Just lost me.
Christopher Nolan, man.
And then a few episodes of Black Mirror lost me just because of how real it was. I just kind of went, whoa, I need to kind of forget my head now and just zone into this. That did it for me.
That's good.
Get Out.
Yeah.
Get Out did it for me.
Interesting.
Get Out did it. I think it was just as I heard so much about it, I wanted to watch it and not pick it apart. I knew if I pick it apart, I'm never going to give it the justification it deserves. Because whenever you pick it apart, you haven't really watched it. You're more watching it in segments, and then I'm going, nah. Yeah, it was all right. But I think with that, I just went, don't. And I watched it, and at first I started, and then about a quarter of the way in, just got me. I remember watching it at the end, I was like, why? I was like, okay, yeah, cool. But so you do have some, it's like what you're saying with music, you'll listen to a piece where you go, whoa. And then you just find yourself listening to it. It's like with film, it's like I'll go, okay, cool, wow. And then I'm just watching it. And then at the end, I'm like, yeah, that was a film. But yeah, there have been films, but it just depends, innit, what vibe you're in. If you're in that space where you're willing to just lock off, then you can. But yeah, it has affected me watching stuff. Oh my Lord.
Definitely.
Yeah, oh my Lord. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah. When you're so the question is, like, when you're creating, like, what kind of mindset are you in? But I guess it's in
Empty.
your okay.
Empty. I think when I try to create, it's like having a painting, and at first an artist will just get a canvas, and it's empty, and you have these visions in your head of how you see it, and it just comes out. And I'm trying to learn that even more now, because I'll read a script in a certain way and will focus on reading it one way because that's the way I see it.
Right.
Instead of going, no, you can't, because for someone else's eyes, it might not read and look like that. It might be different. So I think in the sense of me creating something is now what I've started to learn with my friend who I read scripts with, Ed Scrane.
Oh yeah.
He helps me with a lot of auditions, and
That's good.
And I first, who first taught me this? I did a short film for Riz Ahmed.
Oh yeah,
a few years ago, called Daytimer, and I went into the audition with him, and he goes, "Okay, we're just gonna mess around, just with a few scenes, just improv." I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So we did it, and he went, "Cool, great." He went, "All right, now try it like this." So he made me try the same scene, but 3 different emotions, and I was like, where it was improv, it was easy because not easy, but it was easier. Because I just allowed myself to get lost in how I would feel if I was upset or if I was angry or if I was happy. Whereas when you get a script and you've got your specific directions, you have to kind of stick to it. And Ed, so Riz told me that, and he finished with me and he goes, when you read a script, try read it in three, just give it 3 different options. And it only really hit me when I went for this audition once and I focused on reading this script so much one way. Then I did it, and I was like, yes, all right, my head felt good. And then he turned around and casting the right to, okay, can we try it like this? But where I focused so much on doing it that one way, I found it hard to tap out and do it that way. And I just found myself lowering my voice instead of like the physicalities of actually showing it. And it was at that moment I went, whoa, I really do need to look at things different and not just one way, not just looking at it as, okay, this is how I see it, this is how it's got to be. Because as I said, when you read a book, the way you read it will be totally different to how I might read it and what I envision. So I then turn around and me and Ed will now, I'll get a script. We'll be like, okay, cool. He would say, read it how you've seen it. So I'll go, all right, read it. And then he'll go, okay, now try it like this. You're more relaxed. You're just talking to one of your friends. It's not so that the stakes ain't as high. I'm like, yeah, I know, but he goes, yeah, I know it says it, but don't play it. Right. And I'll go, okay. Then I won't play it. And they'll go, okay, now I want you to try it where, say if it's a scene where I'm talking to a girl, I'll be like, okay, just put it on her. I know it doesn't say you're doing it, but just do it in a sense of just messing around with different ways. Yeah. And what I found we did is that through doing the different ways, you found the arcs in the script where something needed to be hit, something needed to be heard, something was more important. Because as you do it more and more and you get more relaxed and you do it different ways, and as you're reading it, you go, whoa, all right. Okay, so now I see where the energy has changed here. Not just through you playing it a different way, but just from you looking at it at a different angle, you go, oh, so it wasn't the direction I thought it was going to be. And then when I've gone into casting rooms, they go, okay, we've done it. And they've gone, okay, try it like this. And where I've been used to trying it, I'm not now as uptight about trying it. So it kind of relaxes me a bit. And he's got this thing where he likes to say, Ed will tell me, all right, just before, say if I'm going for like an American accent, I'll call him and I'll just run over the lines with him in American. And then he'll be like, all right, is your arse relaxed? Main thing for the nerves. And I'm like, when he first said it to me, I was like, what? I said, what do you mean is my arse relaxed? I'm saying, what is this? Then he went, do you feel like there's tension? And I went, yeah. He goes, relax. And I was like, for ages, didn't know what he meant. Yeah. And it's only now, still learning how to do it now. But before you go in, there's this energy you have where you feel like around your waist area is just tight. You just feel like you don't feel comfortable. And he was just saying, just breathe. It's all nerves that's building up and the tension. And I first had that when I did theatre. I remember standing in the wings before my cue came, and I was like, I'm fine, I'm good. All right, my cue's coming up. Oh my God, I'm in bits. I was like, oh, my cue, bam. Had to walk on stage. And I remember my first ever time walking on the stage. I've never been so nervous and so uncomfortable in my life, because I just didn't allow that time to relax and just be like, you got this. You build up this pressure. And like I was saying to you earlier, we put this pressure on ourselves that we don't need to. There's no need for it. It's like, just be you. And I remember, so when he said it to me, I was like, okay, cool. So I do this thing where I breathe, and through going through anxiety, I use like the same breathing techniques to do the same thing, just to get me in that comfortable space. And just allowing my head to go, it's not as deep as what you make it out. You're in there to do a job. You're in there to show them as an artist what you've created. You give it to them and you walk out. After you've done that, it's out of your hands. As long as you know you put in the groundwork and you delivered how you have rehearsed and how you have practiced and it came out, cool, leave it. And if it wasn't meant for you, it is what it is.
Exactly.
So in terms of being creative, it's just, I just first allow myself to read it, the script, as just blank, and whatever comes to my head, I'll then start to slowly play with. And then going through it, I don't do the whole process of breaking down scripts. I've never really done that. It didn't really.
What does that mean?
Of like, so say now I'll say to you, what are you doing tomorrow? In the script, it will then be, some actors will break it down as, why are you saying that? What's your intentions? Are you saying what you're doing tomorrow because you want to catch you out? Are you saying it because you want to go out for dinner? Are you saying it because you've got plans to go out for a drink? Are you saying it because you don't know if he's going to be around? That so there's always a reason to what you're saying, which is sometimes can be useful. But for me, I just think more where I wasn't trained, that's not really been something that I thought about. I think it's just been more how I naturally feel to it, and how I naturally take to the script is that's how it's going to come out, because I think that's what you want, is the most natural reaction. In terms of it. You don't want to see me, you ask me a question, I do the whole like reality TV thing, no disrespect to them, where I'm looking at someone that's probably holding up something or a reaction, or then I'm going, oh my God, I have to think about it, and then it comes out really wooden. It's not natural. That's just not how it is. So I think it's more just allowing, and no disrespect to anyone in reality, like, no disrespect, but I mean, it's different. You have to always make sure it comes from a natural place and somewhere that you can believe yourself saying it. And that's the main thing, it's just being believable.
Authenticity.
Yeah. And I think any actor or actress I've ever seen and watched, I've always gone, that was natural as anything. And Michelle, she was the one that showed me, doing that last job, just watching her, of how much she had to do, but how natural it was insane. I was just like, she didn't do the whole thing of breaking down the script or any of that. It just came out natural. And watching it, I was like, okay, cool. So it is acceptable to do that. And I think watching...
So that's something that you kind of picked up naturally, but then naturally, validated by...
But then watching her on set and watching how much she had to do, how many lines she had and stuff that was out of her comfort zone, talking about all medical stuff that she had no history of knowing about, but only through learning, through doing the job through the military advisors that taught her, to see how it came out so natural was just like, whoa. So it's just about embracing it and delivering it as you, and not trying to overplay it to this next level where it just comes across as panto. Do you know what I mean? It's not believable for screen. I'm not saying that panto is wrong, but I'm saying it's just not believable for screen. And she kind of showed me that working with her the past 2 years was like, okay, cool. So if I had a line that the writer wrote for me where I personally, as Sean, didn't feel it, I had to go, but you're not Sean. You're Monk, and how would Monk say with a bit of Sean in you? Because every character you play has a bit of you in it. And it was just like, okay, cool. So as I looked at it from that aspect, I was like, all right, let's try it. And you just find a way to make it work, because naturally you would. If I was having a conversation with you now and someone had this written down, for some weird reason, as soon as it's written down on the paper, it all changes. It's all this whole it has to be 10 times bigger. It don't. If this conversation was written on paper, this is how it should sound, with the natural moments of laughter and this and that.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's just about making it as natural as you can. So,
which then makes it as believable as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is just as a creator, I feel just be as true as I can to what's in front of me and just deliver it as natural as I can and not trying too hard. And that's only been through learning. And the more scripts I do and the more auditions I do, the more I'll learn to become more natural and more comfortable in myself in those spaces. So yeah, that's what I would say for me creatively. That's how I would handle it and that's how I would tackle it.
Yeah. That kind of covered a couple of the questions I was going to ask as well, which is good, because I was going to ask, like, how do you know when something is good? But I think you kind of covered that, where it's almost like you're constantly improving and you're constantly like, no, it's like self-awareness, and you're understanding that you can approach it in the way that you have done.
Yeah.
And that's actually worked because it's more believable on screen.
Yeah, it's the thing is, you never, I don't know, I think in terms of saying if you know it's good, you never really do. You would think it's acceptable, but I've never really walked off of a set or anything, even with laughs or any other theatre stage when you get laugh. I've never really walked off going, smashed it, because there's always something you could have done better. There's always another way you could have, there's always another way you could have delivered it. And I also think when you get to that stage, when you walk out and go, smashed it, you're not allowing yourself to learn and change. You just think that was the greatest you're ever going to do, not knowing if you thought about something, it could lead you to somewhere else that takes it to another level. And I think so you know, just in terms of like the director's reactions and your fellow cast members, how they react. But I think I always will come off, like, I remember when I first started OurGirl this year, the first block, I remember coming off every day going, what am I doing? Like, what was that? And I was walking off just going, what? Like, nah. I'm that seriously like talking about career changes and all sorts. Yeah. Considering I've already done the job. And I was
this is season 2 we're talking about, right?
Yeah, so this was, so considering I've already played the character, I was still coming off going, what was that? Like, those doubts. Even though people go, no, it was funny, it's like, yeah, but you never really know who's being real and who's not. And I would always try to ask people I know who be as real as me as possible. But then again, you just never know, because no one's ever really going to turn around after you've just put your face on camera going, do you know what I mean? No one's ever really going to, unless that person really cares about you. And so you just kind of got to deal with it yourself and go, I know I've got this, not in an arrogant way, but in a comfortable way. And I just need to stop fretting. I need to stop stressing myself out over something that is so minuscule and so small that it would become a bigger problem if I let it keep growing. I just need to go, cool, if you feel like that today, sweet, let's go out there tomorrow. Do you think you've done it already? So just do it. And it was only until I got to South Africa I was like, I feel a bit more relaxed. But then there was still, you'd always come off going, I could have played it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, if I caught that moment then, and you play it in your head. So I think the day you come off going, yes, smash that, is the day you're not open to change or open to, and you've become complacent. That's what I thought. And anything where you become complacent, it's just there ain't no excitement no more. There's no thrill in it. It's just, yeah, smashed it, next. Instead of going, okay, cool, but I could have tried like that. No,
exactly. Yeah. Which is the whole journey of being an artist, isn't it? Like, you're
100%.
constantly learning, you're constantly creating. That's what keeps you on your toes, and that's what keeps it fun.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
what makes it exciting.
It's staying in that spot, innit? Because like you said, if you get to that point where it's like, yeah, smashed it, then where'd you go from there?
It just makes it exciting, and I think it keeps that hunger. It keeps that. So this is what it feels like again. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you, it's just that this is why I enjoy this. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you must create a beat, when you then listen to it, like, oh, this is the reason why I'm in it. And it's not like you just get lost in it. And it's them moments that we work for. Yeah. It's them moments of turning around when people do come up and go, loved it. If it was theatre or TV, and you can always tell if someone comes up to go, "Oh, good job."
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that's shit, whatever. And it's just those moments where you do get that person that was like, did it, and you do have that person that comes and goes, that really affected the job you did, really affected me as a person. Like that's what I do it for, is more those sort of things. Like most of the jobs I've done have been a job where people can relate to it. Not in the sense I'm just doing any pony job. I'm doing a job where people have actually gone through this stuff. And people can turn around and relate to it. Not for the people that have no idea about it. I don't do it for that. I do it for what I feel shows a message. Like the job I just did is the army. And before I did this job, I didn't really have that much respect for people in the army because I didn't know too much about it. I didn't know what they went through, what you have to go through, what you have to do.
You had to do boot camp as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't know the stresses, and like the boot camp just showed me. I was like, and we had boot camp like absolute divas.
Boot camp light edition.
Yeah, like the super light edition, the young boy edition.
Yeah,
it was like you didn't get, and even then it was difficult. There was stuff they were doing where I was like, what? And to see that, and then see the level that they do it at, and then whilst we're at home just relaxing and stressing about, oh God, I can't wait to go make a cup of tea, they're out there fighting for us and putting their life on the line, and we have no idea. So it's like, I enjoyed it because it shows people this is what's going on outside of your world that you think is so crazy, when really it's not. It's just normal everyday problems you're going through, and if it wasn't for these people out there, we wouldn't even be having these thought processes, because we'll be at war left, right and centre. So it's just like, it was nice just being able to, and obviously there'll be some people in the army that would be like, yeah, but you didn't really show us properly.
Of course.
But you're always going to get them people.
TV,
but
innit?
I will try my hardest to show whatever job I get, whoever I'm trying to be, whoever I'm representing, I will try my hardest to represent them to the core and to the truth of what they are. And so that's why whenever I do it, I don't look for the fan base of what some people seek when they do it. My real enjoyment comes from people that have been through it, come up to me and go, yo, like, that really touched me, or what.
Right, yeah.
And that's why I go, oh, do you know what?
Amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Not the whole other side of it. That other side to me is, yeah, cool. It's fun, but the whole other side to me is just, would you really take the time out to talk to me if I wasn't doing it? Do you know what I mean? But the fact that someone has come over and has showed me that vulnerable side of them,
yeah,
and I don't even know you, automatically is a good feeling for me, because you've now felt from what I've shown that I've experienced what you've gone through. So the fact that you can come over and do that to me is the reason why I do it, and not for the other side of it. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, there's loads. Yeah, that's why I don't do all the whole just turn up at premiere events and all of that, because that's not what I got into it for. I got into it because I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, and I found some truth in showing and putting my energy into something, and also portraying certain things. So now I think it's only right that I can do that for these people that I get the scripts for.
Yeah.
Not for the other side of it, whereas people will jump to the industry going, yo, I want to be at every premiere, I want to be in the best clothes, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'll wear the same trainers, it don't bother me. I'll wear the same tracksuit, it don't bother me. So that whole side of it is irrelevant. And as I got older, I was just like, I don't care about it. I used to do the thing of I want a nice car and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, that means nothing. It means nothing. But all I'm doing that for is other people. For them to go, oh my God, look, he drives a nice car.
Right.
And then forget about it in 2 minutes.
He's validated. He's doing what he always said he would do.
But now you look and think, yeah, but then in 2 minutes you're looking at the next person driving past
Exactly,
you. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it does nothing for me. So I think that's my main thing from it.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. And also, like, for your future, it shows me that you're dedicated to the craft itself. Do you know what I mean? Like from what you said about like your creative process being empty. So it's almost like you're saying you're a vessel.
Yeah.
And then with your intention, you're a vessel for a good story. Do you know what I mean? So you're gonna want to represent stories that you believe in for people that don't necessarily have the voice. Do you know what I mean?
And it's also for people that just don't have no insight on it. That's more, because obviously I'm doing it for you. Do it. You're representing that certain selection of people that have been through it. But more times a lot of the viewers and people that see it haven't been through it. So it's about showing them as being as true to those people that have, showing this other world, this is what it's like. And let's stop just ignoring stuff and just give those people the time of day. Not saying everyone I've done it for has been a disprivilege and they're not privileged, but I mean in the sense of just open your eyes. There's a big world out there. There's a lot
exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of things out there where you will choose not to look at because of what you've built up in your head because of the bubble you live in. Yeah, but
definitely.
It ain't that deep. It's not that deep. And I think like what you said, like a vessel and creating it as a canvas, like when you're a baby, you just come out as this little being who knows nothing. But over time, you create and become something through going and through listening and through seeing. So I think with an audition process, it's just that it's empty. I'm going to read it. And whatever comes to my head naturally as me is how I will feel it. I'm not going to try and overplay anything. I'm not going to try and analyze anything too much. And then what I'll then do is just break it down in the process with Ed, where we'll look at it in different ways and then see if it works. If it works, it don't. If it works the natural way, then cool. But sometimes you always feel that you just find an extra little something through looking at it in different ways. But obviously that's not for everyone. That technique won't work for everyone. Some people
does Ed do that with you as well for his scripts?
Yeah, he does, but he doesn't do it as, because he kind of has his way of how he wants to play. Yeah, and I think he has his way. And I think we tried that because I said when I did it with Riz, it really helped. And I think again, it then comes down to the piece of work I've got. If it's a piece of work where it requires it, then cool. But more times, if I kind of know the character breakdown and I know how the character is, and I can read the script and see where those arcs are, you will naturally find it. So it's not every script it will happen with, but it is. I do like to do it just in case I do get that moment of, can we try it like this, please? And I'm like, I haven't even.
I didn't prepare for that.
Yeah, and it is bad. And then I do feel like I've come out and I'm like, am I only the Billy One trick? Do you know what I mean? Can I only do it one way? And it kind of made me go, no, I know I can do it more. And to be honest, the only way I was able to do it more was by being more in tune with myself and allowing myself to go and feel different emotions and feel a different way and open up, because you never know when you're going to get a script through one day and you need to play someone who's really vulnerable. And if your whole life you've ignored being vulnerable, you're not going to know how to play it.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And if you've never gone through life, just loads of different situations. Like I talk to everyone. So if I bump into a homeless person, I'll talk to them just to see how their head works. I don't know. I can get a script through as was blah blah blah, and then loses everything and becomes homeless.
Right.
And how would I ever? How would I ever be able to show that person as true as I can if I've never had a conversation? And more times I've had conversation with people that in my life I thought I'd never want to talk to, and I've had the most interesting conversations I've ever had. Then with the person I would think, yeah, we're gonna get along, but all for the wrong reasons. That's why I think that. And I always had it where when I've had them conversations, I've walked away going, whoa, cool, okay. That just opened up a whole new level of why I ain't judging no one no more.
For real.
And that's what it is.
You speak to.
Yeah. And I've had conversations with people. I see people on the train just walking past homeless people. I've had conversations where I've seen evidence of people that have had it all and lost it through just the craziest of events that you would never know if you never gave that person the time of day. And that can happen to anyone. Obviously, I wish it never does, but who are we to just ignore because we feel that we're better? When really we're in a position to help. Instead of actually helping, we have our heads up and don't help. We just keep it moving.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be about that. And yeah,
everyone's
so I think
got a story, man.
And I think as much as us helping, by those people you talk to help you.
Well, yeah, of course.
It might not be physically with anything materialistic, but that's helped you. There could have been a point where you looked at a certain individual a certain way and had a conversation that changed your whole mind. That changed your whole, and you then do it just, you don't know where it's gonna go, but anything that you do, just remember it shapes you and helps you.
Exactly.
And I think that's what it is. So I think with that sense, it's just more just being open minded to any piece of work I get and just enjoying it and not beating myself. Going, oh my God, I need to learn lines. Oh no.
Right.
It's fun. Like it's fun. I get to walk into a room and say a bunch of random words and just have fun with it. Unless it requires this deep thought process, which is my casting bracket for now isn't, because more times I've done comedy or it's just like the chilled sort of character until I do get that role where I do need to go, I need to zone in here. Then that's when that will come. And so for now, I just enjoy it. When I get it, it's just like, I'm just going to draw whatever I want and see what comes up.
It's an amazing approach, man.
As that is, and I don't really get affected by the whole no process anymore. I mean, when I first started, Nick was like, don't it get to you when you don't hear nothing back from an audition? I was like, no. He was like, what? I was like, and it never used to bother me. And I was like, because when I first started, it weren't my passion.
Right.
It just wasn't, I didn't care.
Yeah,
and now, as it's become my passion, the no's do affect me. And I have to go, remember when it didn't. And remember when you could just carry on still being happy and you still worked. It's not like I didn't work. I still worked. And I went, just remember that mindset of where you was at the start. Don't let because where you've got affect why you got there. And you just have to have that moment at times. And I've spoken to people in the past that have been at a certain level and gone, I had to step away from it to find myself of why I first got into this. And then got back, and I'm
Absolutely. I had to do the same thing.
Yeah, and it's nuts. And the thing is, when you do it, you go, "Whoa, how lost you get in it."
Yeah,
and how much pressure you put on yourself,
how much weight you add to everything.
Yeah, and it's like you don't need to. And I think that's with anything in life. Like just to try and apply that and try and do it, and watch the change and the difference it makes of just going. Remember why it all started and how it started, and whenever it always started, more times it was a positive energy you had. It was pure. It was fun. Like it was
pure. You're doing it for the fun.
Yeah, and just remember that. Don't get caught because I know you've done a couple of things and you've done this and you got that and you got this and you got people that you have to carry that stress with you. No, drop that off because you knew that was going to come on this journey anyway, and that was never meant to hop on your back. That was meant to stay there. You breeze past it, on you go. And when you first started, it was just you. How I always look at it, it's just an open road, just me and that road, and it's just me and however I want to create this little world, I just create it, and I don't let the stuff that I've created change my world. No, you're irrelevant. I've created that. It's irrelevant. Yeah, and you just got
It's like I was kind of bring it back to sports with this. Now, if you're a top performing sports person, let's say a footballer, regardless of what, if you've won last week, you've got to go training every day.
Every day.
Then you got to perform on Saturday or Sunday or whenever the match is.
And you might not even perform.
And then if you don't perform, then that's the legacy you got. So it's about keeping up your same actions, irrespective of you had a great week or you had a rubbish week or you heard no or you heard yes. Yeah, exactly. It's about being consistent regardless.
Because as much as it's a present moment, it's also a past moment. Because our present is always changing. Your present is always changing. So you're like, I'm saying it's present now, but it's not. It's now past. Like that. Me saying present was then. Right. It's not now. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, don't always determine your present on your past. Just leave that alone. It's done. And it's like with the whole sports thing, it is. You can have a great game, but you still got to go training. Then you come on to the next game. You might have another great one. Cool. You still got to go training. Then you then go to that next game and you make that flaw and you go, that's why I keep training. It's because if I just have a great game and stop and go, yeah, guys, I'll turn up next game, it's not going to work. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just about constantly working on it and not beating yourself up. Because again, professional athletes for me are incredible because the amount of losses they go through and whatnot and how the game can just change. It doesn't change them. They still go training. They still come back. Exactly. They still fight. They still play ball how they've played ball. Yeah. It's just on that day, it just weren't your day. And that's how everyone's time is that at that current moment, if it didn't go for you, it wasn't your moment. Don't kill yourself about it. Don't live in doubt. Just go, it weren't my moment. My moment is coming and I know it's coming. I'm just going to leave it out there. I'm not going to be too eager. I'm just going to slowly work towards it. And subconsciously, every day you'll do something that's getting you towards where you know you're going. And that's what it is. It's just have that energy of it's going to happen and just keep working towards it. And subconsciously, things will just happen on that journey that,
It's true,
that
man.
will push you and get you there.
Yep.
And that's it. That's the only way I can look at it on a deep sense and explain it like that. But yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Trust me.
What if you could go back in time? Not even go back in time. If you could transport your current self back to when you was in year 11, like last day of secondary school, high school, for American listeners. What, like, knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? That the world I live in, don't let that change who I am, and keep true to what I believe, and don't ever take someone telling you can't as you can't. And just always make sure that no matter what doubts I've got in my head, don't ever go to anyone. And if I do, don't take that as you can't do it. My whole main thing of what I learned from school till now is I had a lot of people doubt, and a lot of people say you can't do that. And I used to listen. And it's only now where I got where I got to by myself through not listening to those can'ts. And I know it's such a cliche thing, but just don't let anyone tell you can't do anything. Despite when you come out of school, and that's the worst time as well, because when you come out of school, for some reason teachers try to make you feel that if you don't go college, don't go uni, you will be no one, you will be nothing. That's nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. My whole thing is that you can be whatever you want to be, as long as you know you can be it. And as long as you know you can get there through your hard work and listening to yourself and being true to you, then it will happen. So my main thing I would tell myself is don't take no for an answer, and just keep going, no matter what anyone says to you. That's my thing. Yeah.
That was powerful, man. You got me.
Come on, trust me. That even had me a minute. I was like, whoa.
I felt it, man. Whoa.
But yeah, no, that would be my look to it, on how I would just speak to anyone of any age, of older than me, of younger.
Absolutely, it always applies. It always applies.
Going. And you will have that in life where you have people tell you can't. And you know why it is? Because they can't. That's the long and short of it. Like, I have people turn around and say to me, you ain't got a real job. Acting's not a real job.
I've had that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then the flip side of it is when they see you doing something, whole energy changes.
It's mad.
And it's that moment where I go, yeah, that's why I'm never going to listen to no one, because you'll always have people tell you stuff where subconsciously it's because they can't do it. So, and despite what it is, painter, decorator, whatever you want to do, there's always going to be that person that says you can't because they can't. And they want you to, people want you to fail, and they want you to fail quick, because it gives them a kick that whatever they're doing in life, where their dreams have been put aside because they had to. So why should you dream? I tell everyone in this world, dream. Dream, boy.
Definitely.
Dream.
It's almost like those people, because there's two meanings to you can't. There's you can't because you're not good enough, which is how most people would hear it. But there's also you can't as in you're not allowed.
Yeah. And
so it's
true.
like they could be coming from
and it is true, but then I always think you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Exactly.
As long as we keep it to what we can really do in terms of like law and whatnot. But that whole word for me, can't, won't.
No, that gets me fired up.
I can't. But even my brother, like, I started to apply it myself, and I'll say when it happens, and not if or maybe or I hope. It is when it happens, not in an arrogant way, but in a way of, I know in my head, if I keep doing what I'm doing, learning how I'm learning, and keep being open to growing and criticism, that I will get there and I will have it. And when I do have it, that sense of fulfillment will be shown to everyone and won't just be for me, because it's because of everyone why I'm there, and everyone's input that's ever. And I always say this to any post I ever put up or anything, which I don't really do a lot, but I always put up, whenever I put a post up, I always say to everyone that supported, thank you, because without people that have supported me and shown me and helped me along my journey, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be able to now do something that I've become or I've grown to love, because without them and without the people around you that show you that energy, you're nothing. You're just another walking ball of energy that's just got no purpose. And it just upsets me when I see people that ignore that and turn around and go, nah, I did it. You didn't do it yourself. You didn't. No one does anything by themselves. You have the initial kick.
It's an illusion, isn't it?
Yeah, you have the initial kick, but after that, it's all down to just being having that acceptance of going, cool, I've had the right energy around me from the right people. And that's why I've always said thank you to anyone that's ever shown me any form of support in and out of work, because it's needed. It's needed, and everyone in life needs that support and that energy, because you never know what someone's going through. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's always important to just keep people's energies high and just always tell someone you can.
Lift people up.
You can't. Yeah. And that's what I think that would be my main thing, is just always tell people you can. No such thing as can't and won't. I know, again, we hear it all the time. No, but it's true. It is true. These things are said and sayings are there because it means something.
Most cliches turn out to be true in the end.
That's what I mean. And it is. Most cliches do turn out to be true. And I think the more you get to know that, it's like 10 people turn around and say, whoa, you look like you've been smoking something. More times you probably have. If 10 people say, oh, you do look like you have been doing something. So if 10 people are telling you, like, you can do it. And even if you got 10 people telling you can't, turn around and go, nah, that can't, I don't believe in it. I do not believe in it. That's the only part of that cliche I won't. If you've got a load of people telling you can't, turn around and go, the reason why you're telling me I can't is because you don't want me to. Not that I actually can't. You don't want me to. And that's more times what happens. So I think just know you can and do it.
Agreed. And obviously with that can, like, back that up with hard work.
Yeah,
because
100%.
the caveat is that you can do anything you want, but it does take that hard work.
Pays off, innit? Another
cliche, but
cliche.
that is true.
It is true. This should be just called cliches. Just have it for the cliches come true, but it is true. It's mad. Like all of them do come true in time, and it's just some people realize it earlier and notice it sooner than others. But everyone will see it eventually in their life with whatever you're trying to do. That these typical sayings do mean something, and just stick to them. Don't ignore it.
Absolutely.
And I think the signs are all there. Just keep going. That's my thing. Yeah.
Keep going, peeps.
Keep striving.
That's it.
Trust me, the hustle has to be done.
Yep.
But yeah, nice. Yeah, 100%.
Good. I think that's a good place to wrap up. I've got just a couple.
Yeah, cool.
Like, rapid fire.
Yeah, cool.
Questions. So firstly, like, where can people follow you? Find out more about Sean Sagar.
Instagram and Twitter. My
What's your
Instagram is official Sean Sagar, and my Twitter is just at Sean Sagar. Facebook, but I haven't really got that one up and running yet. Due to do it soon. Which again is just Sean Sagar. And yeah, that's just to catch up with whatever projects I've got going on at the minute. And do bear with me, I'm not a big social media person, so I do post here and there, but they're worth waiting for. So yeah, they're the places to follow me.
Perfect. And what do you have coming up in terms of projects?
Projects, I've got the whole new season of OurGirl coming out in April, which I now found out today that instead of them releasing it in 2 seasons, they're going to be releasing it as one with 8 episodes.
Oh, sick.
So it's going to be running over 2 months.
Dope.
Yeah, which would be cool. I just finished the BBC Writers' Room, which is incredible. Got to read some amazing pieces from some amazing writers. And now it's just back onto the audition hustle. Get back into the pond and have some fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Sick. Okay, last question. Now you've done the whole For the Creators show, and you've heard the questions and the way the conversation goes. If you could hear me interview anyone else, who would you want to hear answer these kind of questions?
Ooh. Oh, what? Okay. Who? Donald Trump.
He's more of a destroyer. I don't think he's a creator.
I think in a sense of that, I would love to see how his head is, just because I hate the guy. But all right, as a creator, do you know what? A real Ed. I love to hear you speak to Ed Skrein. Yeah. I would love to hear it, because again, he's taught me a lot, and I think there's also a lot to him that I don't even know yet. So yeah, I would. Yeah, I think him, and I think him, and do you know what? No, and Nicholas Sagar.
Nicholas Sagar.
Yeah, them two.
That's happening.
That's what I would. That's what I would like to. But then, it's weird. There's. Can we do 3?
Yeah,
can we do 3?
You can do as many as you want.
All right. So Ed Skrein, Nicholas Sagar, and then Michael Sagar.
Yeah.
I think that one will be incredible. Not just because they're my 2 brothers, but just because of how their heads are. I think is incredible, because they both come from 2 totally different spaces, totally different spaces. So I think they would be incredible, and I think also very interesting to listen to as being on the outside and just listening in. I think I would love to hear their stuff. Even being their brother, I'm still sitting there going, I would actually love to hear it. Just because
that's amazing.
More times we don't really have them chances to have them deep convos. So I would say, Ed, Nick, and Mike, I would like to hear.
We're going to make that happen.
Yeah, it has to happen. It has to be done. I want to be the first one to know when it's happening.
I'll send it to you. Well, I'll send it to them first. And
send it to me first. Like, hey, yo, I got your interview. What? I've not even got it. Yeah, sorry. That's how it is. I'll look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that still.
Dope. Well, Sean, thank you, man.
Absolute pleasure. Come on, right? Madness.
I
enjoyed this. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, trust me.
Peace, people.
Peace.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Remember to check back in with us on Wednesday, where Veneer and I will be discussing a weekly topic and spotlighting a new talent. Follow us on For The Creators podcast on everything. Remember to review, rate and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode.